Lads, I was just saying to Leah, high tech AF. We are flying. How are you keeping, guys? Welcome to the stream. My name is Jay Woodard. I am the founder of the Creative Collective. The Creative Collective is a members only digital community for creators like myself and Leah, digital creators, photographers, videographers, podcasters, designers of all natures. It's just a space we all get together and show each other's work and talk about it and gear and book club. And I'm not selling too much here now. If you want to check out the collective, go to mycreativecollective.com and have a look at all the details there. Happy Wednesday, or whatever day you're watching this back. If you're in the collective and you're watching this back in the library, enjoy. I hope you learned something from it. Leah is a girl I came across a few years back, and her work has only gotten better and better and better. Obviously, with time and skill, it does. But it's just super impressive, and her social media game is really stepping up. She's really, really leaning into promoting herself and just doing it properly. And she has a new series out at the moment. I think it's on episode 3 or 4 or 5 even. Recreate the Scene with Me, where she is going. I'll show you a bit later on with one of them, but it's awesome. So what she does is she watches a movie or she watches a TV show, a music video, whatever it be, and then she tries to recreate the exact lighting and setup of that scene, and it's just super in depth. And if you're into this world of filmmaking and creating, you will love it. I'm going to introduce Leah in a second, but I'm going to show you some of her work first. So here it goes. Class. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Sensational. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for being a founding member of the Creative Collective. Your
No
feedback was super helpful when I was setting up, so I really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
How's things? What's the word?
Yeah, good. Keeping busy with client work and social media, the balance of creating stuff for your social media, as well as obviously producing content for my clients and stuff like that. So keeping busy.
Cool. It just, no matter, you've nailed it. You know what? And I have a background in marketing, and I still fail to market myself.
It's only in the last few months that I've finally cracked the code. Before that, I was literally non-existent.
Oh my God. It's just, I can market anyone else's brand, anyone else's company, but you put my stuff in front of me, I'm like, what? I have to promote myself?
It's a struggle. I think it's a lot of creators would all say the same thing, that they are well able to create for other people and other clients and for other brands and stuff, but when it comes to sitting down and doing your own stuff, it's very much like a rabbit or a deer in headlights kind of thing. So no, I think it's only in the last couple of months that I've kind of cracked it, or at least I think I've cracked it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you definitely have. And is that you sitting down, breaking down your week to week, your month to month, and saying, right, I have a list of videos I want to make and I need to get them out? Or what's the process there?
I'd love to say it's that organized. It's week to week, to be honest, and it's kind of finding the time within a week, going, okay, I need to pump out a few bits of content here. I set aside a day depending on the schedule of my week, and I will go through my saves on TikTok and Instagram and see what things that I've saved, what past Leah has decided this might be a good thing to jump on in terms of a trend. And I kind of go through and I see how much work I'm willing to put into creating the content on that particular day. And I kind of just set up my filming background and just create them and kind of do a bit of a batch. I'd like to say, as I said, it's super scheduled and super organized, but it kind of just depends on my time. And
well, exactly, with client work, you can't turn down work for her social media stuff. Like, I mean, you have to say yes on a Wednesday or whatever it is, like, so tell the guys a bit about your past, where you came from, what got you into this kind of thing. You're not from Cork, are you?
No, I'm not actually from Cork. Although I've been living here for like the guts of nine years, I think. I'm actually originally from Wexford, and I know nobody can place me really because my accent is quite neutral. So I come from Wexford, went to boarding school in Waterford, then went to college in UL, and I actually studied multimedia and computer games development, funnily enough. But it was in name and nothing else. It was more of a glorified computer science course. It was a relatively new course, and when I had started it, the only first set of graduates were coming out the year that I was starting. So it was more of just very much coding and stuff like that. There wasn't as much of the creative side of making video games that I would be more interested in. So it was very much just very computer science based. And then after college, during college, I had work experience in Cork for 8 months. Loved Cork, so I knew when I finished college, I wanted to come back to Cork, and got a job in a startup here in Little Island called 4 Impacts, which was a data analytics company, and I was an operations manager. That was my title, but I kind of wore many hats in that company for the 4 years that I worked there. But throughout that time and throughout some of my college degree, and I don't advocate this, but I like to say the result of my skills is due to procrastination because a lot of like my putting off work, I just would start playing around with like Premiere Pro, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, and just like played around with all those kind of editing softwares. It just found it fun more than thinking I was actually learning anything from it. And it wasn't until I kind of came across the likes of Casey Neistat, which is a name I'd say a lot of people know. And I don't know, just seeing him just create videos like daily that weren't like super, super high quality. It was like he concentrated more on the story and stuff. And I think that kind of opened the doorway to, okay, this doesn't have to be the videos the videos I create don't have to be masterpieces. They just have to allow me to create. So I kind of just started from there, and the rest, as they say, is history, and it kind of snowballed.
Nice. And when did you start taking commercial work? Was it ASAP, or was it kind of
you
took a
it
year
wasn't.
or two, just you did creative stuff first for a while?
I did just my own like little vlogs and stuff, trying to be Casey Neistat. And
I
it
think everyone
wasn't.
did.
Yeah.
I even based the Huckleberry vlogs off Casey's stuff. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it is what everyone did.
He influenced a lot of people in their earlier content creation career, I think. I'd say I also wasn't like doing stuff for fun for a short period of time. It might have been about a year, and then a few friends and family are like, "You should do it for money. You're really good." You know the way all your loved ones tell you how good you are at things, and
hype you
like,
up.
okay. Yeah, exactly. So a friend's sister got me in with the Fancy Hen. I can't think of the
I think I know it.
director of that company right now. The Fancy Hen and henparty.ie and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they needed a series of videos.
Is that Rob? Was it Rob?
It was Rob. It was
Yeah.
Rob. It wasn't Rob who got me the job. It
Yeah.
was my sister's friend who worked there at the time. And I simply got in, I think, because I was very much underpricing myself, but probably rightly so, because although I was like proper chuffed with the videos, thinking they were the best I've ever done, if I look back at them now, they're terrible and make me cringe. But I think that's what kickstarted me. And what also helped was that I just, her name is escaping me now. The director of that company had very close connections with Derval O'Rourke, and she was very happy with me, so she referred me to Derval O'Rourke, and things kind of picked up from there and went from there, kind of thing. And yeah, things just kind of, as you know yourself, you kind of just get another client and then another client, and you get referred, and it just kind of pinballs from there.
Yeah, and then literally just continues if you keep the client and
Yeah.
the joy of it. I had a flashback there when you said your first video and stuff. And looking back, I dare to look back the last day. My first ever paid video was for Sober Lane in the city.
Yeah.
And it was 2 minutes and 47 seconds long.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my God, who actually watches that? Like,
it's a short film.
that really is these days, the short film. Like, but yeah, as you said, you grow and you learn, and that's the whole thing. Like, I want to, obviously you're super talented at all aspects of this this game, but you're unbelievably talented at post-production. That's why I want to chat to you about this, because you've done YouTube videos on it, tutorials, all that kind of stuff, and I'm guessing you love the post-production process.
I do, yeah. I like all the processes when it comes to creating a video, but the post-production is the exciting part, because it's where your idea starts to come to life, kind of thing. So,
which surprises me, because you edit on Premiere Pro, so I don't know how anyone's excited about that. But
I've been dabbling a bit more in DaVinci Resolve, but yes, Premiere Pro would be my main go-to. Yeah.
But you did Final Cut, didn't you?
Years and years ago.
You say that with such a tone.
I know.
Years ago,
I dabbled in Final Cut Pro initially, but then
piff puff. Wouldn't touch it these days.
but because I kind of delved more into After Effects and Photoshop and stuff, it just seemed to make more sense to just stay within the whole Adobe suite, because they can all connect and talk to each other and stuff like that. So
class.
Yeah.
So let's say, pure example now is the latest video you did for the two girls. Can't remember the band's name. Falling is the song.
Oh yeah. So my friend has a duo, I suppose, Jade and Zena, and they call themselves State of Mind. And she's actually, I don't know if you've seen Zena on Instagram and stuff like that yourself, if you've come across Zena. She does videography and photography as well. Like, she's an incredible creator and just one of the most multifaceted, talented people that I know. She knows how to play the drums, keyboards, guitar, she does photography, does videography. But what gets me is she doesn't know how to read music, or she doesn't know what notes she's playing. She just creates it. And I'm like, that blows my mind. But I messaged her on Instagram a couple of months ago, or a few months ago now, maybe last year even. I don't know, concept of time has gone out the window for me. But I messaged her because I saw she had made content in Wexford, and I was like, I'm from Wexford, and I was like, where'd you live? And she was like, oh, I live in Enniscorthy. It's like, stop, because that's where I'm from. That's my hometown. And that's where I go home when I go home to my family. And so we obviously linked up straight away and have been become quite close friends since that. And when we'd always said, like, I want to make a music video with you, because she's made a few for other people. So when she was coming out with her own song with her friend Jade, I was like, I want to help. And her and Jade very much gave me the reins. They gave me two kind of stipulations. It had to be kind of Euphoria themed, the show Euphoria, kind of the vibes of that. And it had to kind of be a house party and stuff like that. So they let me away, and I did all the pre-production, and obviously did all the filming and all the lighting and stuff like that, and the post-production as well. So it was a lot of fun.
No, it looks incredible. Do go to pennyproductions.ie on Instagram to check out the promos and stuff. But that video, the two girls reacting, fucking marketing gold.
I was so lucky.
Send that to any client. Send that to any client, and you're like, if you want to work with me, this is what happens.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. So let's talk about that scenario. You've wrapped, everything is done, lights are away, packed up, and you've landed down home. What's the next step?
For that particular project or just in general?
Just in general, what's your process? Like, do you have a step-by-step card, like project create, like, this kind of thing?
I suppose the kind of every project is going to be slightly different for me anyway. I find in the post-production, but the kind of the
basics,
starting point
skeleton,
would be obviously getting all the footage off the memory cards. I split it into, if it's depending on if it's like more than one day of filming or whatever, I would say filming day one. And then I would be like day one FX6, day one A7S3. They're just the two cameras that so I break it up into the cameras. If there's any audio or something, I keep that in a separate folder. So I just break down into the folders to make sure that the files are all as organized as possible so that I don't get
Is that done? Is that done immediately? The second you land home,
pretty much.
The second you get home.
Pretty much the second I get home, because I have like this like stupid fear that my camera, even though it's awful, just delete my stuff.
Just blow up.
You know,
it will just blow up in the corner and
spontaneously disappear into the ether or something. And so I'm like, oh god. So unless I get back, like, so yesterday I got back from a shoot up in Dublin and I didn't get back until 8:30. So I was like, I'll leave it till the morning to upload that footage. But mostly,
you didn't sleep a wink.
No, I slept well because I was up at like 4:45 and I had 3 hours to get up to Dublin. And that was horrific. But no, usually making sure that all my content is off the cards, and I don't delete the stuff off my cards straight away. I kind of leave it on it just in case anything were to happen and I accidentally delete it off my computer or something. So I just keep it on my cards until I have to like delete the stuff on my cards for the next project or something. But I have
do you do a backup on a separate SSD drive then as well, or?
Yeah, so I was about to say I have a massive 24 terabyte external dock thing. It's a G Technology, G something, G Suite or something. And I put it all on that straight away. That's where I keep everything backed up, so it's all stored here locally and stuff. So that's kind of the basis, and then depending on like the pre-production I've done for it, like for instance the music video, the post-production for that was very quick because I knew for scene what was going where, so it was just a matter of sticking things here and adding a few effects. I didn't go too wild on any effects or anything like that. So with that, the post-production was super quick because I had done so much with the pre-production. But yeah, it's a matter of it depends on the project and what way it needs to be edited. It just kind of depends on how I do the post-production.
Yeah.
I do tend to do like a little bit of a basic color grade first before starting to cut down the footage. For whatever reason, I don't like looking at, because I shoot in S-Log.
Yeah.
So it's super flat.
Pure example here now, just to give the guys an idea. So the raw and the rec. So you throw it into Rec 709 and then edit that way, and then
I would throw it. Yeah, exactly, because I don't know. I just like to see the colors, or just what the colors kind of would be like. Because it's so flat, it's just hard to know.
But as well, it's your like if you're for your curiosity going, did I get it right? Did I get it right? Because when you're looking when you're shooting in RAW. My heart is going, have I done this right? Like, what's the lighting like here? Like, and I know I go back and forth from the automatic and stuff to make sure the light's okay and stuff. But you know yourself, like, turn off the profile. But so you put into Rec 709 and then you edit and then get your final edit and then you fully color grade.
Yeah. Okay. Usually, yeah. Sometimes sometimes I find color grading S-Log a lot of fun because it's such a dramatic change. So I'm always like sometimes probably tweak a little or play around with the color grade a little too much for a little too long, when I should be kind of just cutting down the footage and culling the footage and stuff like that. But I would usually put a little bit of a quick grade, convert it to Rec 709, and then I would cull the footage. And a good thing to do, especially when you've shot your own footage, you obviously know like what take is what, and it's usually the last take. So I'd usually just skip to the end of the clip knowing that lasts. So I'd kind of edit backwards almost with the clips. And then it's just depending on the type of edit and what way it needs to be edited, I would then start kind of doing my thing.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into this guy. The one you said you keep using.
Yeah, I've over repurposed. My friend is
Not
probably
bad.
sick of seeing herself.
So I'm guessing like there's nothing here but footage. You have no audio. You have no. That's all sound design you've built afterwards, is it?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Did
all post production sound design because in the camera, the camera was in. I don't have it with me. It's downstairs.
in the kind of
A
shell.
waterproof housing, so all you can hear is just muffled sounds and probably the two of us laughing or something like that.
And is that stock sound, or did you actually take sound on the day?
No, that's all stock sound.
Okay.
I don't think. No, I don't think I didn't record anything on the day.
Yeah.
And this particular shoot was very much on a whim. I was over visiting my friend Anna, who's from Barbados, and I was over visiting her in Barbados, and I brought my waterproof housing because I was like, I've always wanted to get these kind of shots. So I was like, I'm gonna be in a beautiful island. My friend happens to be beautiful as well, so I was like, here, I'm gonna make you be my
Perfect.
subject. And thankfully she was willing. So it was just a matter of I got a few reference shots that I kind of liked to just help kind of me with kind of capturing some shots. Some stuff was just what I had seen there and then while filming. But it was very much it was one of those projects where it didn't have too much kind of a structure. I was just kind of having fun with it.
And they always turn out like a majority of the time they turn out the best because it's so kind of loosey goosey and you're not overthinking it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And this was just a fun little personal project, just to get something a bit like artsy and kind of just nice.
yeah.
And yeah, all the sound design is done post. There was nothing. I think I actually put up a video on my story, and I filled my bathtub. I don't know if you saw
Oh
that. I
yeah,
filled
I
my
remember seeing that.
bathtub, and
Yeah.
I was there putting my hand through the water and recording the sound.
So you actually did Foley
So
sound at home.
I did create some stuff, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but most of it was like sourced online and stuff. And I've gotten so many I've accumulated so many sound effects packs over the years, and like have so many sources that I use that I think are really good for sound design and stuff like that. So um I've got a serious catalog of
Yeah.
different sounds and stuff
So you
like
kind
that.
of knew ahead of time what you were going to use and stuff.
Yeah.
So what was obviously sound design was much heavier here than actual edit and color, was it?
It wasn't too like there wasn't too many layers to this, I don't think, but yeah, like the grade and stuff. What's interesting is that little example that you showed of just the from SLOG to Rec 709. So that's probably a slightly different grade to what the final video was, because I graded the final video in Premiere Pro, and as I said, I've kind of recently been dabbling with DaVinci Resolve. So just playing around with the color grading system and that, and I've just kind of gotten a bit more kind of creative with it, I think. But yeah, like I it's not a super crazy edit by any means, but the sound effects, if you didn't have them in there, it wouldn't sell it,
Yeah, I know what
and
you mean.
it wouldn't hit as hard.
Yeah,
So
you're dead
um
right.
yeah.
Just have another quick listen here. That's Leah's hand in the bath now.
It is. I'd like to say it's not what it is.
That's class.
What's interesting, I find sound effects, doing sound design, a lot of fun, because it's adding sound to the things that you do visually see, but it's also adding sounds that you don't necessarily see. So you're obviously adding sound based on you're motivated by what's on the screen, but it's also there's other shots. There's like little whip pan kind of whoosh noises. These kind of, I think it's actually a page flip noise that I use for that really quick kind of sequence.
Okay.
Obviously, there's going to be water noises and stuff like that in my hand, dripping water in my bathtub and stuff. So it's sometimes with sound design, it's not the most obvious sounds that go into
Exactly, but it makes it Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's like those whooshes you were saying, like they carry the story forward. Like it's literally a transition for you, and it's bringing the viewer
Mm-hmm.
forward with you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of whooshes, this bad boy. Ooh. Now, short and sweet, but any car manufacturer would love to see that kind of stuff with their car. Speed ramp. Talk to me about the speed ramp. I saw the behind the scenes. Check out Leah's Insta as well for the behind the scenes, where some random person starts chatting to you,
Yeah.
and you go into self promotion mode. You're like, pennyproductions.ie. And
It's just autopilot at this point. Yeah, so this was an interesting one. Obviously on Instagram and stuff, mostly on Instagram then compared to TikTok for whatever reason. These like speed ramp car videos are super trendy. And I've happened to have gotten a nice car recently. So I said, why not try it just because I find speed ramping quite difficult sometimes just to get it as smooth as I see people getting it. So it was a nice evening. I got my gimbal, I got my camera. I just went out to the marina there just before, just by Odlums there in Cork City.
Yeah.
And just kind of waited until the sun got to a nice place and just kind of filmed like these different, like you can see in the little BTS video that I have, literally what I was doing. I was like crouching and running away from my car. But what was interesting, the gimbal that I used, it does have a portrait mode on it. But when you put it in it, when it flips the camera around, like you hold it like this, obviously. But when you put it in portrait mode, it like points up instead of like portrait mode this way. For whatever reason, it's
so
really.
So what is that? Is that a Ronin SC?
That's
is it or
no? That's a Xeon Weeble S2 or something.
Okay. That's weird, isn't
it? So it's really annoying. So you'd have to hold it really awkwardly. So I actually filmed the shots horizontally, so I had to crop in. So they probably are a bit tighter than I would like them to be.
Yeah.
But
and obviously no sound effects. It's just perfect to the beat of the music, and then
yeah. So that music, that track, which I had found on Instagram, had saved it specifically. Knew that I was going to use it for a quick little speed ramp video of my car. And the music itself has kind of these little transitions in it, so I didn't feel it needed any sound design.
Yeah.
But what took me ages was masking. I masked the buildings. If you look, I know it's very quick, but the Cooper logo comes out from behind the buildings.
Okay, 2 seconds.
So
yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very subtle little thing.
But it makes it.
It
makes it.
Yeah. So I masked out the buildings, but because I shot it horizontally, I actually didn't have enough sky and enough of the ground to zoom back enough for the car. So there's actually 2 layers, and it just so much work went into it for a 5-second video. But
look,
did pretty well. So
did they see it? Did they even comment?
Oh yeah, they saw it and they acknowledged it and stuff like that.
Class.
So they haven't gotten
They'll reach out.
They'll
be in touch. They'll be in touch. Do you know yourself? And then I'm not going to show the full thing because obviously it's too long, but I'm going to go through a recreate a scene with me. So I was great movie, really enjoyed it.
The shot. So to understand welcome back to episode 3 of my Recreate a Scene With Me series. In this episode, we're going to be covering a scene from a movie called Inherent Vice. Full disclosure, I've never actually seen this movie, but I found this scene from an awesome site called Shot Deck. More on that in a future video. Let me show you.
Love Shot Deck.
Yeah, Shot Deck. I've actually accumulated quite a list of websites that are similar to Shot Deck. I do plan on doing a TikTok video on that, so
class. So this is the scene you want to recreate, and then you talk about the lead-in angle of this one that like what's it called again?
Motivated lighting.
That's it. Where the light's actually coming from the scene we saw previously. So this is the scene previously. You break it down. Actually, I have to ask you, these lines that you draw on your iPad, how are you doing that? Are you screen recording or what's the crack?
So
That's what
I
it is.
use Milanote, and
Okay.
in Milanote you can actually draw on the
The
pictures.
screen. Okay. I was just wondering. I was
And
like, that's class.
I just screen record. I have an iPad Mini
Mm-hmm.
and iPen
Pierre
or
Louis.
whatever fucking it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And I just screen record.
Love it. Love it.
Uh,
But it gives it so much. It adds so much value. Like it
yeah,
just really adds value to it. Like,
yeah.
so this is the shot you want to recreate. The bottom one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to see the live I did with Louis. It was class. We broke down some of his scenes and some of his photography as well. It's just great insight. But
Mm-hmm.
again, with this, you broke down the blue light from the moon and the house light here that's kind of bouncing and stuff. But the likes of that's kind of so you go through the gear you're using and stuff. I love those lights. There you are. Again, your gear. So that's obviously on that's S-Log raw. You're seeing that, and then you bring that light in. Class. You could be an actress, you know. The faces you pull, the faces you do, and all you like this, the Jedi one, and you.
I try to get into character, you know.
Of course, you have to. You absolutely have to.
I have to commit.
So break this down for me here, and break down the actual. So go back to this guy. So break it down for me. The process of right, you've captured the scene, you've done the lighting, you're happy with the lighting.
Mm.
Firstly, how are you looking at the lighting if you're shooting S-Log? Are you kind of going back and forth, or what's the crack?
So I usually shoot it on my A7S3, and when you shoot an S-Log, there is like a setting where it kind of puts a somewhat of a grade on it.
Okay.
So it's not super flat. Like there's like I can't think of what the setting is, but it's built into the camera. So I kind of just
Winged it.
winged it.
Wing it. You have to like. It's terrifying. It's actually
It is,
terrifying, especially for client work.
I've gotten to know S-Log and stuff like that quite well from like I've had my A7S3 and my FX6 for a year and a half now, I think. And I have found that in the last couple of months, especially just playing around with all those TikToks, I've really gotten to know my cameras, and I just kind of know what's going to work and what's not going to work and stuff like that. But it is a bit of trial and error. Like, I kind of try out the shot a few times first to see if I can even do the shot. Like my last episode 4 that I did, I'd actually planned to do another scene from Euphoria, and it needed me to be sitting on the end of a bed in my spare room. Actually, I can't put my camera back far enough for it to work. So I scrapped it and did the other idea with the light strip, and it was black and white and stuff.
And I saw they reached out and they were delighted with it as well.
Yeah.
Cool to get that recognition, isn't it?
A bunch of the crew actually started following me and stuff like that, and
class.
And the guy, I think he was kind of a director or something. I can't remember what he told me his role was, and he said he'd love to have a chat with me and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is. No, well done. It is amazing.
Yeah. So
you're doing this for fun, and then you can actually someone reach out and will actually like obviously if someone says we need you to shoot a motion major picture, you're like yeah.
It is fun definitely doing this, but there is obviously a little bit of strategy behind it because I'm learning myself, I'm teaching other people, hopefully people are learning from me doing it, and it's also just solidifying to people that might come across my stuff that I know they'll see that I know what I'm doing, and therefore hopefully hire me or get in touch about potentially doing some work. So yeah, with this setup, it was just as I kind of break it down, it was like obviously the motivated lighting that I explain, and just kind of figuring out between all the lights that I have, what worked. What's interesting, they actually from the episode 4, they commented because I was curious, like, how did they do it versus how I did it. Now I knew that their setup was definitely going to be a lot more robust than mine, but the fact that it just shows that I was able to get pretty much the exact same results, but they used a much bigger lighting setup and stuff like that. So it's interesting. It's fun trying to figure out all these different setups and trying to break them down, and
obviously it's make or break in camera, because if you don't have the right lighting set up or the right thing, that doesn't work at all, does it?
Yeah, not at all, but like the goal is to always get it in camera. I know everyone jokes and it's like, oh, we can fix that in post, but the goal is to get it done, like to get it right straight away.
Yeah.
And there have been occasions where I would be practicing the shot and I'd like, okay, no, that's wrong. I need to do this differently and stuff like that. And I would go back and I'd film myself again or whatever.
After taking the setup down, or
sometimes it has been after taking it, but sometimes lights are just left in my house everywhere.
Just abandoned.
Just abandoned. I'll come back to that later. But yeah, it's just a matter of it's important to get stuff in camera. What's great with SOG, it's not the same as shooting raw per se, but it's not far off, especially the fact that the A7S III and the FX6 can shoot 10 bits, so you do have a lot of flexibility there when it comes to your color grade and adjusting the image without it starting to break down and turn into shit.
But absolutely, no, you did an amazing job here, and you're getting a good response off these, aren't you?
Yeah, getting a great response actually. So it's great to see. It's good to just even see people that are learning and stuff like that, because like, you know yourself, and I know a lot of creators experience the
imposter syndrome. It's no good. It's not fun.
Immobility of imposter syndrome.
It's not fun.
And it's always an internal battle, especially when I'm doing videos where I'm trying to teach people, is I still don't know everything there is to know, and I likely won't. So it's getting over that hump, or busting through that wall or barrier that tells you, why would anyone want to listen to the stuff that you're saying? But then you see a lot of people have commented and DM'd me that they really appreciate my work and are a fan of my work, and
amazing.
They've learned a lot and stuff. So it's crazy to hear, but I'm glad that's the case.
That's everything. Like, that's exactly the whole reason you're doing this. People are learning from you. You're happy. You're getting feedback, professional feedback at that. What more can you want, you know? I'm going to leave you go. Thank you so much. I know you're in a rush to go somewhere, so I appreciate your time.
No problem. And if there's anything else, obviously.
Oh, I meant to ask you, what did YouTube do to hurt you?
What did YouTube?
You've just abandoned it.
I know, but I do plan on jumping back on it soon. It's just that it's hard to, when you're creating so much content that's for vertical, it's hard to create for.
Are you doing shorts at all?
I tried, but I find them quite confusing as to how they work.
Oh, really? Yeah, the algorithms. I think they're trying to sort it out, but it's still kind of messy.
Yeah, I find it confusing and trying to figure out how you upload and what way it works. But yeah, I do plan on jumping back on it. I will be doing a kind of a breakdown or BTS breakdown.
Those kind of things would kill.
Yeah,
YouTube, they really would. Like, they recreate a scene.
Yeah. But I do plan on doing a behind the scenes breakdown of the music video that I did, going through the kind of whole process and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel I'm able to turn around stuff for TikTok and Instagram so much quicker, because you can do the lip sync videos and these kind of short sort of things that you can do quite quickly. Whereas with YouTube, it takes up a lot more of my time when it comes to editing, because I don't know, I put that little bit of extra into it. And my videos don't do super well on my YouTube. The last few didn't anyway.
Okay.
So
it's very disheartening.
Yeah, it is.
Very disheartening.
And when I obviously see the pickup that I'm getting on the likes of TikTok and stuff, it's hard to justify putting the time into YouTube. But I do plan on uploading more in the future. It just takes time.
I can't talk. I'm just as bad as well. I'm worse than you probably. Quick recap. Ideally, pre-production, plan everything out. Always helps the edit. Capture as much as you can in camera, because that'll also help with the coloring. That'll help with sound design. Obviously, that doesn't affect, but mainly coloring and lighting. And then just try your best to have fun with it, because otherwise, like as we said with the video in Barbados, it's one of your favorite videos because you were having fun with it, and then you were messing around the hand in the bath, and it added to it, and then it just works better, because you're having fun and your mind is actually, you're not worried about client reaction, you're not worried about anything like that. It's just you're having fun, and then that's when creativity grows best, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the term passion projects is used a lot, and I think it's super important that we as creators take the time to create something that isn't for a client, isn't for anyone in particular, and you have full creative control. Because I think that's where you learn, and that's actually where you create a lot of, I find, your best work is some of the stuff that you are kind of playing around with and creating yourself, kind of thing, for yourself. And I also find, because there are projects that I get, that client projects that I get, that I call bill payers, because they might not necessarily push my creative juices all that much, and it can become quite monotonous, especially if there's a long stint between doing something that's a little bit more creatively fulfilling. So I think taking the time out and doing something that is creatively fulfilling kind of refreshes your content and just your love for
and
it.
your drive. Yeah, you're the fire and the drive.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Come here. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being a founding member of the collective. It means a lot. And let's get a coffee real soon.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Chat soon. I'll chat to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Guys, that was the fantastic Leah Barbour from Penny Productions. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Hope it helped. Do check out Leah's socials. They are class. The behind the scenes stuff she does are amazing. And it's just super educational for creators. Super, super educational. So do check her out. This has been brought to you by the Creator Collective. I hope you found it. There's value here for you. If you are interested in joining and become a member of the collective, do check out mycreatorcollective.com. Just a bunch of creators and digital creators who are together sharing work, talking about their stuff, gear discussions, book club. You can ask advice if you're stuck on anything, all this kind of stuff. You get time with me where I can help you break down. I've been freelancing for 10 years plus, so I can help you if you're stuck in any projects or anything like that. If I can help in any way, I can. But do check us out. We'd appreciate it. And thank you for your time and have a great night.